This week's 5-Minute Friday, I wanted to show my multimeter. So I just keep it in this little box. This is a Kent Moore. It was a digital multimeter box, but when I worked in Hawaii, somebody left this box on my desk, and nobody claimed it for like 2 weeks, so I took it. I keep my Fluke 101 in here, and I keep the wireless test light. I've done a video about that. So the Fluke 101, it's the perfect meter for a mechanic. I just used this thing today, so it's only, I just checked, it's $43 on Amazon right now, compared to a Fluke 88, which was $750 on Amazon. And I used to have one of those big, expensive snap-on meters, but you just don't use all the functions. So what do you use on a meter? This is basically what I use, so hopefully it'll focus there. So it's got AC volts, it's got DC volts, it's got millivolts, it's got ohms, it's got the little continuity, it does capacitance, it does hertz and duty cycle. So it does not do amps. So if you need amps, they have a meter that's very similar to this. It's called the Fluke 107, and it was like 108, I think. I'll link it down below also. It's rated for 600 volts, and I mean, what else do you need a meter for? I don't really use amps that much. I honestly never use amps. And one thing too that I like about it is it uses AAA batteries, and this thing doesn't. I mean, I've had this thing over a year, and I've never changed the batteries in it. As where like the snap-on meter that I had, I'd have to change the 9 volts in that thing. It seems like every week I'd have to change the batteries in that thing. It does have a hold button. This little yellow button changes between continuity and duty cycle. One thing though that a lot of people complain about, and I don't know, is they say these leads are pretty cheap, which they are kind of cheap. They're kind of flimsy. But, I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. I haven't had any issues with them. I mean, maybe if they get messed up, I would replace them with something. But they also don't have the little threaded things. They don't come apart, so you can't. They're kind of cheaper leads, but they seem to work okay. They're kind of like a weird plastic coating, I guess. They're not as good as my other Fluke meter leads. But, I mean, for the price, you can't beat it. 43 bucks. I think it's 43 and a little bit of change. Instead of spending that much money on a snap-on meter and stuff, and I never used it. I never used any of those fancy functions. So, I mean, see how small it is? Like, I mean, I have pretty big hands, but it fits real small. It fits in your hand, fits in your pocket. One thing that is kind of weird, I mean, it's got this the loop for the Fluke magnet. One thing that I do notice is so they're, the plugs are on the bottom, which can be an issue. Like today I was using it and I had the leads plugged in, and it kept, like, I kept moving, you know, using the leads to test, and then you'd have to move. You couldn't really see the screen. So that's one thing where, like, you got to kind of hold it or get the little magnet thing. But for the price, you can't beat this thing, and then it's everything you'd need as a mechanic. I mean, how often do you really do amp checking? I can probably name on one hand how many times I've checked amps before in all the years I've been doing this. So check this out. Link will be down below for this one, which is the Fluke 101, and I'll also link the Fluke 107 if you do need amps. And that the Fluke 107 has the extra port for the amps. So hope you guys like this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you.